Well, welcome to the Friday Bubble. It's lovely to have you back, Essi. We haven't been able to get together for a little while, have we? So we've got two wonderful champagnes, brand new vintage from Piper-Heidsieck, they're 2018, and a new non-vintage blend, the Essential from Base 2013. Two amazing vintages in very different ways. Essi, tell us a little bit about 2018, because we're just starting to see a sprinkling of them now in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're still there to witness the true potential of the 18. I mean, what was the 18? We had quite a big yield at the time, and the wines, it was quite a warm season, so it's really like quite a supple style of wines that open up normally quite early. And what's really interesting here is that this is the first blending of Meunier the chef de cave, who arrived in the house. So it'll be interesting to see if we see a change there.
So interestingly, Régis Camus made the wine in 2018, and Emilian joined just after the harvest, didn't he? So 2018, Essi was reputedly the first of a trio that we were anticipating, 18, 19, and 20.
Yeah, quite.
How have they ended up with a bit more time now?
Yeah, I mean, originally I think already at the harvest, the 19 had the biggest potential. All are actually quite warm profile years, but the 19 seems to have the best freshness to it. I think over time the 20 has shown to be the least favorite, because of some of those vegetal like hydric stress related aromas in the wines.
Oh, well, I'm going to let you have a little chance to taste it. I just had a quick smell. The aromatics leap out the glass, considering I've opened it 10 seconds ago. There's very little Meunier in this. I thought it's quite an interesting blend.
Yeah, and I think normally they don't really use much Meunier for the vintage, but there's 3% for this one, and 50% Chardonnay, so it's one of the rare Piper vintages which has actually more Chardonnay than Pinot Noir.
Now, when I was with Essi back in March this year, and we were able to get a preview with Emilian of this, the launch is going to be very much around the date that we release this video. When we tasted it at the winery, one of the things I remember was that I was surprised. It had this delightful fruit. You were almost ambushed by the fruit. But I was surprised. It's got really good balancing freshness.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like it's very Piper on the nose. It's quite rich with this sort of depth. Even if there's more Chardonnay in it than Pinot Noir, I'm actually getting much more red fruit characters in it. There's this softness, suppleness, a nice like pastry tone starting to build up. But on the palate, it's nicely firm. There is a lot of volume there. It's quite soft. The mousse is quite soft. But then there's a touch of phenolics towards the back palate, which give like a nice firming sensation to it.
And because the wine was made by Régis in 2018, all of the liquids went through the malolactic. And that might lead you to thinking the wine might be short of freshness, but it doesn't seem like it is, does it?
No, it's very balanced overall, I'd say. Very fruity, very lush, very open. I'm sure it'll be a really delightful but more early blooming vintage than some of the others.
Oh, well, that's interesting, because I think when we tasted it, it's only 2 months ago actually, I remember the yellow fruit being more dominant. And in those couple of months, a little bit more cork time, those red raspberry, red currant plum have really come forward. Quite light in dosage, Essi. I can't remember the number. You have the sheet over there.
So it's 7 grams per liter dosage.
So you've got lovely fruit, which means you don't need that much dosage.
Yeah, absolutely. Very nice, balanced wine. Just hoping that, or looking forward to developing this sort of typical to Piper, this sort of more toasty, coffee, roasted aromas.
When we were at the winery, Emilian gave us a great little insight to how these develop with post-disgorgement time. 2018 is considered a relatively hot vintage. He then took us back over other warmer and quite hot vintages, 12, 9, and 98.
Oh, right, you're right.
The one thing, the 12 really surprised me. Just tell us briefly, Essi, as I open the Essential, what struck you about the 12 that day?
Yeah, I mean, 12 is a fabulous year. I think the yields were quite low on that year, and that made it like really explosively fruity and concentrated. But then still at the same time, it comes with a fabulous acid backbone. So to me, it's a really, really impressive vintage.
And it really evolved. It was showing that beautiful toastiness, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But this is exactly what I'm looking forward to seeing here as well.
So, Piper Essential, it has started off originally as their non-vintage blend with sort of lighter dosage, and then very quickly they started playing around a bit more with the blend. This is the one that's base 13, Essi.
Yeah.
Which is actually 82%, if memory serves me right, from 2013.
Yeah, exactly. Typically, Piper hasn't used so much reserve wines either for the Brut non-vintage nor for the Essential. So very much a 13 in character. I'm presuming. I haven't tasted it in Magnum recently, and a fabulous one of my favorite vintages, the 13. So I have really high expectations for this one.
So 13, very different to 12. If you profiled it quite concisely, what would you tell us about 13?
Oh, this is a really cool profile here. If you think more on the 12, it's more on richness and sweetness,
right,
but with good freshness. But this is really, really a vintage that has more crunchy fruit and also much stronger. It's more linear and has a stronger acidity to it. So to me, it's like something between the 12 and the 8. So
okay.
It has something similar with the 8 in that strong acidity it comes always with, and then it has also nice ripeness of fruit despite the very late harvest.
I think Essi's just sort of summed it up quite nicely in the vintage summary, really. It's got a beautiful toastiness.
Yeah,
I just almost
even
get
with some
juice.
Tropical pineapple.
Then you get the yellow fruits come out.
Yeah. Roasted pineapple, very nice sweets, emerging this sort of more dried fruits characters alongside the fresh fruits.
Now here we have the 2018, which was very much a warmer year, and you very much see it, to me, in much more horizontal style. The really rich, ripe fruits. Here, I think everything's a bit more linear, and we call this a bit more of a sort of vertical style, I suppose.
If the nose was already great, but on the palate it really shines. That acidity is just, it's very precise, it's sort of crystalline, shiny, lemony. I love that. It's really mouth-watering. It comes with salinity in the long finish. This is a super value bottle if you think what it costs in a Magnum. Absolutely. It's beautiful.
There's some lovely orange and grapefruit coming out.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of orange
on the
fruits.
palate. Really rich fruit. Essi summarised it beautifully again. It is probably one of the best value wines out there.
Drinking perfectly today. It's really wonderful.
Perfect. Well, this was disgorged in 2020.
Yeah.
So it has, perhaps that's why the toast has come out. We hope everybody enjoys a glass today. Cheers, Essi. We normally do a favourite, don't we, at this point, when we've had a...
Yeah, well, this time it's a no-brainer. It's going to be the Essential.
I think, yes, I'm not going to argue with that. I love the immediate appeal of that. I think this is going to go on a very interesting journey as well. Thank you very much, Essi.
Thank you.
Cheers.